Hello students, welcome to my channel. Let's study business at home. Today we are going to discuss very important topic from your examination point of view. Chapter 2, Fuels Principles of Management. But before that, I want to discuss something related to the contribution of Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol, a French mining engineer, had developed management theories for scientific organization of labor to control production cost in an enterprise. He was the first to identify the function of management. For effective function of the organization, Fayol categorized the business activities as technical, commercial, financial, security, accounting, and managerial. Fayol suggested that for managerial efficiency, a manager must have appropriate education, knowledge, and experience along with physical and moral qualities. Based on his on-the-job experiences, Fayol developed the concept of administration through 14 principles of management. And only because of his contribution, he is also known as the father of journal management. So student, we are going to discuss 14 principles of Fayol one by one. This is the list of 14 principles. I request you to just pause the video and note down the 14 principles of Fayol. Then we'll discuss it one by one. First principle of Fayol is division of work. As the name suggests, work should be divided into smaller jobs and tasks. Work should be divided according to the qualification, interest, and the efficiency level of the employees. Let's take an example. In a school, the principal looks after administration, and under him or her, there are individuals in charge for academic, for discipline, for admission, for co-curricular activities, etc. Similarly, the business enterprises have separate professionals for sales, production, finance, etc. So in an organization, the task is divided into the work is divided into the smaller jobs or tasks. If the whole work is divided into smaller tasks as per the interest, as per the qualification, then and the worker are doing the same work again and again, then worker will be specialized in their work and they will complete the work with full efficiency level. Division of work also makes the task more simpler and easier. So it is very important for each and every organization, as well as you can see division of work in your home also. Each and every work is divided as per the interest, as per the requirement also. So division of work is very important principle which is given by Fayol. Second principle is authority and responsibility. Now, what is authority? Authority is right to give order, and responsibility involves being answerable. Manager requires authority commensurate with their responsibility. There should be a balance between authority and responsibility. Whatever work the employees is getting, the authority related to the work should be given to the employee. And there must be the parity amongst the authority and responsibility. If you are giving more authority than the work, employee may misuse the authority, and if you are not giving authority related to the work, then employee will not be able to complete the work as per the target. Let's take an example to understand this. If a sales manager requires to offer a credit period of 60 days to negotiate a deal with a buyer to fetch the company net margin of rupees 25 lakhs, he should not be given power to offer a credit period of 100 days because it is not required. If authority granted is more than responsibility, it may lead to misuse the authority. An organization should build safeguard against abuse of managerial power. This is the principle of authority and responsibility. We are coming on the next principle, that is principle of discipline. As you all know that discipline is very important in the life of each and every person. Discipline means following organizational rules, honoring employment contracts by both employees as well as by the management without any prejudice towards each other. It is very important for the organization that principle of discipline should be applicable, and this is equal for each and every level. According to Fuel, discipline requires at each and every level and clear and fair agreement and judicious application of penalties. Let's take an example. Suppose management and labor union have entered into an agreement whereby workers have agreed to work overtime without any additional payment to revive the company out of loss. So, in return, the management has promised to increase wages when this mission is accomplished. Here, discipline would means that both workers and management honor their commitments without any prejudice towards one another. If organization is completing their target, then it's a duty of the management that they have to commit, they have to fulfill their commitment, they have to give increased wages to the worker, and it's again on the worker side, they have to work, if they agreed to work overtime, so they should not ask to increased wages without completion of the target. So that means discipline should be equal for all, and they both, all the levels should be included in this, and they all follow their commitment or honor their commitment without any prejudice towards each other. Now we are coming on the next one. Okay, you have some case study in front of you. I request you to pause the video and read these case study very carefully, because this chapter is very important from your case study point of view. Yes, I know you all know the answer of that. Case study 1, that answer will be division of work, because senior management is dividing all the work according to the qualification, and they are dividing the work into smaller tasks. Answer of case study 2, that is principle of discipline. They are violating. Why? Because they are not fulfilling their commitment. We are coming on the next one. Next principle, that is unity of command. According to Fuel, there should be one and only one boss for every individual employee. That means each participant in the formal organization should receive order from and responsible only to only one superior. It is very important, if one employee is receiving orders from more than one bosses, then the employee will get confused, and employee may give excuses to the work or to the superior that he is busy somewhere else. It is the responsibility of the organization to see or to follow the unity of command. Let's take an example. The production manager instructs its superior to produce product X, but sales manager comes and tells the supervisors to stop production X and produce product Y instead, because there is market demand. Now what will happen? The employee will get confused. Because of different set of commands from two bosses, the superior will be confused and may decide to produce nothing. And now the supervisor will be confused, and what will he say? He will be confused and he will give some excuses, and he may say that he is not doing anything for that. Again, in the same way, when you are at the home and your mom may instruct you to study accountancy, but your dad may say no, study maths, what will you do? I'm sure you will end up with watching television instead of studying. So you will agree that if one receives dual instructions, chances to underperformance are high. What does it mean? That means employee will not be able to perform as per their efficiency if they are receiving command or orders from more than one bosses. Now, if organization is using the principle of unity of command, then what positive effects will come? When each subordinates will receive clear-cut order from one boss only, this will improve his performance. No confusion in the mind of subordinates regarding whose instructions he should follow. Since this principle avoids dual subordination, there will be no conflicts between the superior also. Otherwise, there will be ego clashes in the superior. Okay, why that supervisor is doing only on work, not mine? So again, unity of command is very important principles, and it should be there in each and every organization. Okay, now we are coming on the next principle, centralization and decentralization. You can see two words are there. One is centralization, means concentration of decision making authority, and decentralization means dispersal of decision making authority among more than one person. If only top management is taking the decision related to each and every work, that means that is centralization. But if some rights, some work is divided from top to bottom level, that means that is decentralization. It depends upon the type of work and the type of organization whether we have to use centralization and decentralization, but both are very important for the organization basically. So again, how much centralization and how much decentralization should be there, it depends upon the type of organization, type of work, as well as the efficiency of the worker and the manager also. What positive effects will come if the organization is using this principle? Increase efficiency of manager as well as worker. Now that point will come in your mind. How will it increase the efficiency of manager? Now when they are using the concept of decentralization, that means the main and urgent work the manager is doing, then manager is concentrating on the urgent work, and the daily routine work is being performed by the supervisor basically. So efficiency of the manager as well as the motivation level and the efficiency of the supervisor will definitely improve. Now fast decision at operation level will be done, because they can take the decision related to their work on their own. They don't have to wait for the decision making. As well as if urgent decision are there, so manager or the top level can take quick decision for the organization. So this principle is very important for the examination point of view also. And sometime CBSE may ask where centralization is more beneficial, where decentralization is more beneficial. So we have to think about that. If the size of the organization is very big, you should go for the decentralization. If the small organization is there, they can work with the help of centralization. If the work is very urgent, you should go for the centralization. If there is daily routine task they have to make, you can go for the decentralization. So many options. If the workers are not skilled and you want some training for that, so for some time centralization may be used, and after training decentralization can be used in the organization. So this is very important from your examination point of view. we are moving to the next principle, that is unity of direction. तो स्टूडेंट्स कई बार इसमें कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कि यूनिटी ऑफ कमांड एंड यूनिटी ऑफ डायरेक्शन दोनों उनको सेम लगते हैं, मगर हियर द डिफरेंस इज दैट in the unity of command work, Fayol suggested that one boss, one employee. Here we are talking about the plan, that is the goal of the organization. So according to the whatever departments are there, whatever departments are doing, like planning department, planning department is there, manufacturing department is there, they all are doing according to the work, according to their departmental work, but they are doing to achieve the goal of the organization only. What does it mean? That means they all are working in the same direction. The principle of unity of direction, such division of organization must have its own in charge, its own plans and execution resources to achieve the specific goals. This principle states that all the employees having same objectives must be directed towards the achievement of the common goal, whatever work you are doing in the organization, but you have to keep in your mind that you have to achieve the common goal, that is the goal of the organization. What does it mean? One head, one plan. What positive effect will come if you are using this principle? It ensures smooth unity of action and also facilitate coordination, because all the departments are doing different tasks, but they all are doing those different tasks into coordinating manner. So obviously they will achieve the target and they will achieve the organization goal in the systematic manner, and working will be systematic in the organization. So this is, don't get confused in both the principles, unity of command and principle of direction, unity of direction, and CBSE may ask difference between the two principles, that is unity of command and unity of direction. So you should know the difference between the two. It's better to you do this question and you make a note or you differentiate between the unity of command or unity of direction. Got it? Now we are coming on the next one. Okay, again one case study we have. You pause the video and just read the case study. It is very important one. Very good. I know you know the answer, and the answer is unity of command. Why? Because they are getting instructions from more than one bosses. So I know you know the answer. Very good. We are coming on the next one. Next principle is subordination of individual interest to general interest. What is subordination? That is adhinasth hona. Individual interest is your personal interest of the employees or personal interest of the department. तो आपके personal interest subordinate हैं, अधीनस्थ हैं किसके? General interest. What is general interest? Interest of the organization, that means the common goal. So what you have to do in this? That means you have to make it clear in your mind that if you are working for the organization, your personal goals will be secondary. What will be the primary goals? Your goals of the organization. The interest of an organization should take priority over the interest of any one individual employee. So here we are not working for one individual employee. Here we have to work to achieve the common goal of the organization. Let's take an example. The company works with an objective to be fair while giving salaries to his employee. जनरली सारी कंपनी यही बोलती है कि हाँ वी आर फेयर टू दी वर्कर्स व्हेन वी आर गिविंग द सैलरी. वन ऑफ द मैनेजर हु इज़ वैल्यूएबल फॉर बिजनेस मे डिमांड फॉर सच हायर सैलरी. इट्स गुड कि वो वैल्यूएबल है और एज़ पर द रिक्वायरमेंट और एज़ पर द रूल्स और स्ट्रैटेजी उनको सैलरी प्रोवाइड की गई है, बट कंपनी में नॉट अग्री to his demand as it will harm the interest of other employees. So whatever strategies are there as per the rules of the appointment, they have to follow the रूल्स एंड इफ़ अदर एम्प्लॉयज़ को भी ध्यान में रखते हुए आपको जो है अपने इस प्रिंसिपल सबऑर्डिनेशन ऑफ इंडिविजुअल इंटरेस्ट टू जनरल इंटरेस्ट को ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा. इज इट क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स? We are coming on the next principle of fuel, that is scalar chain. Very important from our examination point of view. Scalar chain, you can see that there is one diagram where you can see A, B, C, D, E, F, G and many levels are there. What does it shows? Basically, it's a chain of authority and communication. Organization should have a chain of authority and communication that runs from top to bottom and should be followed by manager and the subordinate. That means this scalar chain strictly you have to follow. If you want to give, let's take an example. Here we have one employee F, and if F wants to give some information to C, then F will pass information to E, then E will pass to D, and the D will give information to C. That means formal chain of communication you have to follow. But what will happen if there is some urgent work, at the time of urgency? Again there is one option of gangplank. You can see one line where you can see F is directly communicating with P, and that bridge, and both are on the same level, and that bridge is known as the gangplank. If there is an emergency, then F can directly contact P through gangplank as possible in the डायग्राम. तो वैसे तो आपको स्केलर चेन को स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो करना होता है इफ़ यू वांट टू गिव सम इंफॉर्मेशन टू द अदर लेवल और अदर ऑन द टॉप लेवल, और फीडबैक भी आपके आते हैं इन द प्रॉपर चेन. बट इन द केस ऑफ एमरजेंसी आप गैंग प्लैंक का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. बेसिकली गैंग प्लैंक इज़ अ शॉर्टर रूट provided to subordinate to communicate with each other in case of emergency. This eliminates delays in communication. नहीं तो अगर आप प्रॉपर चेन का इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो इट मे टेक सम टाइम और डिले हो सकता है वर्क. बट इन केस ऑफ इमरजेंसी तो आपका शॉर्टर रूट आपको यूज़ करना चाहिए, दैट इज़ गैंग प्लैंक. क्लियर स्टूडेंट? नेक्स्ट वन, remuneration to personnel. That is, remuneration should be provided to each and every employee according to their efficiency, according to their experiences and the level. But the overall pay and the compensation should be fair to both employees and the organization. Here we are not only talking about the worker, but we are talking about the organization also, as per the efficiency of the organization also. And equitable and uniform payment system होना चाहिए. अगर equitable of uniform payment system आप use कर रहे हैं, that means those who are working on the same level with the same work with the same experience, उनको same salary मिलनी चाहिए. Now the employee should be paid fair wages which should give them at least a reasonable standard of living, and on the other hand at the same time it should be within the paying capacity of the company. What positive effect will come if the employees are getting good remuneration as per their experiences, qualification and the level, and as well as for the work? Ensure congenial atmosphere and good relationship between the workers and management. Obviously there will be the very healthy, very smooth working and positive environment will be there, because management are paying as per their capacity and workers are getting salary remuneration as per their experiences, their knowledge. Employees get motivated to their and their devotion and commitment improves होते हैं, and working of the company would be smooth enough when you are getting equitable uniform payment system. Is it clear to all? I don't think so it is very very difficult, but you should make proper notes of this. Very important one जो students की life में भी काफ़ी important है, that is the principle of order. Here order doesn't mean कि हम ऑर्डर दे रहे हैं, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आपको कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शंस दे रही हैं, आप उसे फॉलो कर रहे हैं, नहीं. वो है ऑर्डर मीन्स orderly arrangement of men and material. That means there should be the proper place for men and material. जहाँ पे डिपार्टमेंट है जिसका वो वहीं बैठे, जहाँ सामान रखने की जगह है, टूल्स रखने की जगह है, वहीं पर टूल्स रखे जाएं. जब वर्कर्स को ज़रूरत पड़े वो उन टूल्स को ले और बाद में उसको इस्तेमाल करने के बाद वहीं पर रख दे. दैट इज़ द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ ऑर्डर. People and material must be in suitable place at appropriate time for maximum efficiency. घर पर भी आपने देखा होगा जब आप पढ़ते हैं तो जो सब्जेक्ट आप पढ़ रहे हैं उससे रिलेटेड बुक्स एंड नोटबुक्स आपके पास होनी चाहिए. नहीं तो आप क्या करते हैं, कभी रजिस्टर लेने के लिए जाते हैं, कभी एक बुक के लिए उठे दूसरे, तो इससे आपका रिसोर्सेज को ढूंढने में टाइम लगता है, आपकी टाइम वेस्टेज होती है, आप कंसंट्रेट नहीं कर पाते हैं अपनी स्टडीज़ पर. तो दैट मीन्स अगर आप ऐसे पढ़ते हैं तो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ ऑर्डर को वायलेट करते हैं. व्हाट डज़ इट मीन कि आपको प्रिंसिपल ऑफ ऑर्डर फॉलो करना चाहिए. कैसे? आप जहाँ पढ़ते हैं, जहाँ आपकी स्टडी टेबल है, वहीं आपकी सारी बुक्स होनी चाहिए आपके पास, आपके सारे रिसोर्सेज वहाँ होने चाहिए ताकि आपको बार बार चीज़ों के लिए उठकर जाना ना पड़े. सेकंड, काम ख़त्म होने के बाद आप चीज़ों को प्रॉपर प्लेस पर रखें ताकि नेक्स्ट टाइम अगेन इफ़ यू आर फाइंडिंग फॉर सम बुक्स तो आपका टाइम वेस्ट ना हो. एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में प्रिंसिपल ऑफ ऑर्डर बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है. तो अगेन इट इज़ वेरी वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर द प्रॉपर फंक्शनिंग ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. इज इट क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स? आई थिंक इट्स क्लियर टू यू. इट्स नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट. Okay, now you have to pause the video again and you have to read the question. वेरी गुड. आई थिंक आपने ये क्वेश्चंस को नोट डाउन कर लिया होगा, रीड कर लिया होगा. तो और अब आई थिंक आपको आंसर्स भी समझ में आ गए होंगे. दैट इज़ आंसर ऑफ क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 इज़ गैंग प्लैंक. वाई? बिकॉज डायरेक्ट कम्युनिकेशन ऑन द सेम लेवल, अभी हमने पढ़ा प्रिंसिपल ऑफ स्केलर चेन में, दैट इज़ गैंग प्लैंक. Answer of question number 2, that is principle of order. Why principle of order? Because worker are wasting his time in search of the tools. And the last one is which principle which is violated here? That is subordination of individual interest to general interest. We are not there in the organization to fulfill our own objectives. We have to work to achieve the objective of the organization. मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि आपको ये सारे क्वेश्चंस के आंसर समझ में आ गए होंगे. इट्स बेटर यू नोट इट डाउन अगर आपने नोट नहीं किया है तो. Okay student, we are coming on the next principle now. Principle of initiative. Initiative. Workers should be encouraged to develop and carry out their plans for improvements according to fuel. Initiative means taking the first step with self-motivation. किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एम्प्लॉयज़ काम करते हैं, बट किसी भी एम्प्लॉय को मोटिवेट और इनिशिएट करने का माहौल एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन प्रोवाइड करती है. तो किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को अगर वो चाहते हैं कि वर्कर इनिशिएट करें, तो अपनी सजेशंस दें, आगे बढ़कर अपने आप से काम करें, तो देयर शुड बी सम एनकरेजमेंट टूल्स विल बी देयर, लाइक एम्प्लॉय सजेशन सिस्टम विल बी देयर, जिसकी वजह से अगर जो एम्प्लॉय सजेशन देते हैं उनको अप्रिशिएट किया जाना चाहिए. Workers must be encouraged to develop and carry out their plans for improvement. For example, a sales manager may give suggestions to make marketing strategy more customer oriented, but he should not change the pricing policy of the company to receive bigger order or favor specific customers. There should be the suggestion system होना चाहिए, so that a good suggestion should be always welcome. Employees must be encouraged to give suggestions which may improve productivity or decrease cost of production. On the same time, employees must be give opportunities to develop and execute plans, but it must be within the established practices of the company. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि इतना इनिशिएट हो गए कि उससे रिवर्स इफेक्ट आने लग गए, अगेन नेगेटिव इफेक्ट आने लग गए. अगेन उतना आपको इनिशिएटिव ज़रूर अपने एम्प्लॉयज़ को देना चाहिए, सजेशंस देने के लिए उनको मोटिवेट करना चाहिए, ताकि वो बिलोंगिंगनेस उनकी बढ़े ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को लेकर और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए पॉजिटिव एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट हो सके. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट for the workers also as well as for the management also. Principle of initiative. Next one is stability of tenure of personnel. स्टेबिलिटी ऑफ टेन्योर, दैट मीन्स वो जो भी वर्कर्स हैं उनका कार्यकाल क्या रहा, उसमें स्टेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, स्थिरता होनी चाहिए. किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जहाँ पे वर्कर्स बार बार चेंज करते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, दैट मीन्स द एटमॉस्फेयर ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज़ नॉट वेरी गुड, वर्कर्स आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज़ नॉट गिविंग दैट एडिक्वेट एनवायरनमेंट टू द वर्कर्स ताकि स्टेबिलिटी बढ़े. Employees turnover should be minimized to maintain organizational efficiency. अगर बार बार टर्नओवर हो रही है तो इफ़ यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, अगर बार बार टर्नओवर हो रही है तो आप बार बार रिक्रूटमेंट आपको करनी पड़ेगी, आपको बार बार मतलब ट्रेनिंग प्रोवाइड करनी पड़ेगी जो काफ़ी टाइम कंज्यूमिंग भी होती है और इसके साथ साथ आपको उसमें कॉस्ट भी काफ़ी बेयर करनी पड़ती है. इन द सेम वे आप एफिशिएंसी नहीं बढ़ पाती है. जो भी एम्प्लॉयज़ आते हैं, एम्प्लॉयज़ तभी वर्क स्टेबिलिटी आएगी, तभी वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए पॉजिटिव सोचकर अपने काम को आगे बढ़ा पाएंगे. तो अगेन एग्जांपल लेते हैं. मैनी कंपनीज टुडे अपॉइंट पीपल आफ्टर कंडक्टिंग रिटन एग्जाम फॉलोड बाय रिगरस इंटरव्यू प्रोसीजर. दे हैव ऑल्सो गिव द सेलेक्टेड एम्प्लॉय ऑन द जॉब ट्रेनिंग. In return, employee may needs to sign a bond for the fixed period of time. The employment contracts also have notice period clause where the organization or employee whoever wishes to discontinue service need to give the prior notice. Only because of this कि काम अफेक्ट ना हो, इस टाइप की पॉलिसीज़ को रखा जाता है. बट if an organization is giving good environment and good training period and good remuneration, then nobody will leave the organization. Then the efficiency will increase and the cost of recruiting again and again and the training, वो cost भी बच जाएगी. तो what positive effects will come? Provides feeling of job security, then it improves efficiency of the work employees, as well as there will be no wastage of time in which we are providing training again and again to the workers. Next we have principle of equity. This principle emphasizes kindliness and justice in the behavior of manager towards worker. Equality होनी चाहिए. There should be no discrimination on the basis of sex, religion, language, caste, beliefs and nationality. Good sense and experiences are needed to ensure fairness to all employees. For example, today many foreign companies are headed by Indian origin professionals and many Indian companies appoint foreign nationals in managerial and technical position to gain from their experiences. Again, there should be no discrimination on the basis of the castes and all. Manager must have just and kind behavior towards worker. Loyalty and devotion you can expect from the worker if you are loyal to them. Management must appreciate efficiency and penalize underperformance or inefficiency. Again, it is very important for the examination and to create a healthy environment in the organization, ताकि आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक पॉजिटिव और एक हेल्दी एनवायरनमेंट बना रहे और आप उसके अकॉर्डिंग अपनी प्रिंसिपल ऑफ इक्विटी का इस्तेमाल कर सकें. The last one is esprit de corps. It means teamwork. हम सभी जानते हैं कि एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में टीम एफर्ट्स होते हैं. मैनेजमेंट में भी आपने पढ़ा, ग्रुप एक्टिविटी होता है. तो एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जब तक एज अ टीम आप काम नहीं करते, जब तक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में हेल्दी एनवायरनमेंट, पॉजिटिव एनवायरनमेंट और स्मूथ एनवायरनमेंट को बनाए रखना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू फ्यूल, मैनेजमेंट शुड इम्प्रूव or should promote a team spirit of unity and harmony among employees. According to Fuel, manager should use we instead of I. क्योंकि I अगर आप यूज़ करते हैं तो that means you are thinking about yourself only. If we are saying we, that means we are talking about the team, and we shows that you are working with the team, not individually. What positive effect will come? That means when spirit of de corps is present, the need of penalize the defaulting person is minimized. And the second thing is, it will also minimize, it will give rise to the spirit of mutual trust and belongingness towards team member. So we have to think about that, okay, whenever we are working in the organization, we have to work as a team. Manager should use we instead of I. So it is very, very important, and it's better you make notes for all these principles. At the end, again one case study we have. You just note down the case study for this. And the answer of this case study is principle of equity. Why? Because in the organization, management, both Kanika and Priyanka are working on the same level with the same educational qualification, and there is a difference between the salary. So there should be no difference as per their level or their qualification. It's same. So they have to work. They have to give proper equity. And here one more principle we have, that is principle of remuneration. Fair and adequate salary should be provided to the employee or worker. Here you have one you can say quick review, or you have one short trick to learn all the principle, 14 principle. Dad, you see USSR. Oh, I see. Here I am giving you some hints, then you can make its full form on your own. D stands for division of work. A stands for authority and responsibility. D stands for principle of discipline. U stands for unity of command. In this way, जो sequence हमने follow किया है starting से लेके अब तक principle का, तो you can make full form, and whenever you are writing the list of these principles, so you can write these short form in front of these name of the principle. That will be more easier for you all to learn 14 principles of fuel. Thanks a lot.